Hi, this is Missy Wolf, and I'm talking with Bill Houskeeper.
Hi, you're listening to Dark City Interviews.
Perfect, and we're going to be talking about your new project, Winter Quarters. So, what is your connection, your personal connection to this film?
Well, I grew up in a coal mining community, and actually Winter Quarters is an event that happened in my hometown, in the same county. It was one of the first coal mines in Utah. I want to say it might have been the first coal mine in Utah. And an event happened there that really, well, it changed not only the country, but a lot of the world. And a lot of people have never heard about it.
Right, and I'm one of those people. So can you tell us what event that was, or is this something we have to wait and watch the film for?
No, absolutely. Basically, what had happened was it was an explosion that lasted less than half a second, and still to this day, they don't know what caused it. What they do know is that men in two different mines died, and to this day, they don't know how many men or children were killed in it. Because the children started mining at age 6, but they didn't get put on the payroll until they were 13. Every coffin in the state of Utah was used, and they had to order more from Denver, Colorado. Every family lost at least one family member. One family lost 9, and one family lost 12. Condolence letters came in from around the world. We got letters from the President of the U.S. as well as the President from France, Felix Barrault. And it also had a huge, massive impact on the U.S. Navy because they had put out a contract with Winter Quarters to put out, I believe it was 2,000 pounds of coal per day for their ships down in the Philippines for General Admiral Dewey.
Wow, that is a lot. That is a lot of death. That is really sad and tragic. So is that the reason why you chose to tell this story, or is there a different reason?
There's actually a lot of reasons on why I chose this story. One was because I had family in that disaster. One was because my father is a coal miner. He's been mining for 30 years. One is just because of the tale that needs to be told. Another is because history has completely erased this event. And what's nice about this event, or about this film, is that there's no conspiracy theories going on about this. There is no secret government cover-up or anything like that.
Right.
In fact, all the information is completely open to the public. And when I told up the Mine Academy, they were completely for the project, and they told me that they've been waiting for years for a film on Winter Quarters to come out.
Well, I can understand why. It's not a lot of people seem to know about it other than those that are affected. So this is something that could definitely, be interesting to the eyes of many.
Yeah, and it's interesting to know as well. In 2000, in December of 2000, there was it was January of 2000. A lady and her husband decided to have a 100-year centennial on May 1st because the disaster happened on May 1st, 1900. And so what they did was they decided to really just not have any advertising because the neighboring town of Schofield has a population right now of 27 people. And there were no kids in the town. Schofield is literally in the middle of nowhere. It's about 2.5 hours before you hit another town. Schofield doesn't even have a zip code.
Oh my goodness! Wow, so, that is definitely off the map right there.
So this couple decided to have a 100-year anniversary. Started planning it a few months in advance. Knew that nobody would come, so they didn't advertise it. They just kind of told their friends, and their friends told friends. And they decided to have, I believe it was 25 or 50 chairs. I can't remember which. And you could RSVP for it, and have one of the 50 chairs because they knew that nobody would come. And so they started looking at the RSVP list. After 1 month, over 150 people had RSVPs. like, okay, we need to get more chairs. So they ordered more chairs, and in a very short amount of time, those chairs were RSVP'd and called for. Except for now they were noticing that wasn't the local community who were RSVPing for these chairs.
Right.
It was starting to be people from around the world.
Yeah, so it was definitely an attention grabber.
This event affected about 13 different nationalities. The Chinese, the French, the Finnish were a big part of this event. I mean, the French, the Scottish, I mean, just all kinds of people came to winter quarters to get a piece of the American dream.
Wow.
And they were, in a sense, they were getting it. And so basically what had been going on was all these people from around the world were starting to RSVP. And the day of the event, they had over 2,000 people from around the world show up. They had only sold like 500 seats. So they had 1,500 people show up from around the world.
Incredible.
They even got the U.S. Navy to fly stealth bombers down the canyon and break the sound barrier at 8:10 in the morning, symbolizing the exact second of when that blast happened exactly 100 years before. And that's all videotaped. They recorded the ceremony. I have a copy of that, and I think it's open to the public as well. If anybody wanted to get a copy of that, they could easily get it.
Are you going to incorporate that somehow into your film?
It's possible. Right now we've got a really decent script, and I really like it, but the way that Hollywood will always work is there will always be rewrites. And I'm open to that. I have no problem with that. I have one story out of a million stories that came out of that canyon. So I welcome rewrites, and if that got thrown in, I would be completely supportive of that.
Right. Now, I know we're talking about how many nations, how many people were affected by this. What is the historical significance in this story? What is
Well, there's a lot. There's quite a few of them. Outside of the obvious of mine safety, and we really started to learn how spontaneously combustible coal dust actually is. We started to really notice that because of this disaster. But let's look at child labor laws. That put in huge effects to child labor laws. It also put into effect unionization.
Right.
When that event happened, the unions were able to have a lot more leverage in that time period, saying, "Hey, we need to all talk about what's going on right now and try to figure out the safest way to keep men safe."
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, why do you think this story hasn't ever been told before?
One reason: history's erased it. You know, it's just so much time has passed, and you know, I mean, there are not many filmmakers who have come out of Carbon County, Utah. And, you know, most of the people there haven't even heard of winter quarters. In all honesty, I never heard of winter quarters. I'm going to tell you how I found it.
Okay.
Basically, I was about less than 17 years old at the time, and I knew a little bit about the area. I knew the coal mines was a driving factor for Carbon County.
Right.
I mean, Carbon County. Carbon, it comes from coal.
Right.
That's where we get our county name. I mean, even the Beehive State. You probably heard Utah referred to as the Beehive State.
Right.
And a lot of people don't know why, but the way that you would process the coal was in these dome-shaped things that look like beehives, and that's where Utah gets its Beehive State slogan from. It's from those coal.
Oh.
So anyways, sorry to sidetrack for a
No,
second,
that's interesting. I'm glad you said that, because I can guarantee you many of the people that will be listening to this would not know that. So that's incredible. Thank you.
Sure. So now, my dad had a book. He had a series of books. It's called Time Life. They put out, I think, I'm throwing out a number, I think it's 10 or 12 books. They came out in like the 70s. My dad has had them for as long as I can remember. And the books are really beautifully done, and it's just things about the West. One book is about the outlaws. One book is about, like the sheriff in the western part of the country. in like the very beginning stages of our country. And one of the books is called Mines. In that Mines book, you have everything from the California gold rush to the Alaskan gold rush, coal mines in Utah, all the different types of mines that were coming up in that time period, like out in Leadville and Durango and all that stuff.
Right.
And as I'm reading the book, I'm flipping through it, and I come across a 3-page spread called Winter Quarters, Utah. I don't know where it is. I just happened to come across it in the book.
Right.
And I'm reading it, and it said that the blast had happened. I always remember it. The blast happened so fast that some of the men were still holding their picks because they had no idea that they'd just been killed. That's how fast this happened.
Wow.
No warning. And not only that, but there's so much detail and depth to this story. I mean, I could go on forever about it. But anyway, so my dad got home right after I got done reading those 3 pages. And I was like, Dad, have you ever heard of this place called Winter Quarters? My dad's like, yeah, it's right up the street. You want to go?
Oh, my gosh. So he knew all about it, and you had just learned about it.
Oh, he knew all about it. Yes, of course. I mean, a lot of these people in the area of Carbon County, definitely, especially the old coal miners, they know this story. This is extremely popular in the mining world, and not just in Utah, and not just in the U.S. It's known throughout the world. When you have people RSVPing to a very small town with a population of 27 with no children, and some guy from Finland finds out about it and wants to go there for a day, for a 4 or 5 hour event, that's huge.
That is definitely
because that's with
huge.
no advertising. That's with no advertising.
I can't imagine what. I'm sorry. I can't imagine what went through the people who were planning this. What went through their minds when, their town of 27 people, they thought this was going to be a low key event, and it turns into this huge, big thing. I bet that was quite something to see and be a part of.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it had to be an extremely humbling experience. I mean, I've watched the DVD, and I'm humbled by it. I mean, I might be humbled because of other reasons that the listeners aren't, can relate to.
Right.
But I thought it was just amazing. I thought it was just very well done. And they also went through and they redid all the headstones in the cemetery as well for that 100-year anniversary.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, actually, there's a lot of people buried in Schofield. Not all of them got buried up there.
Right.
But if you're walking through the cemetery of Schofield, you're going to see probably close to about 200 headstones that all say May 1st, 1900, mine number 4 or coal mine number 1.
Wow. And so many of them it's not known who was actually in there? Or
that's true. No, they don't know. They don't know. And there's a reason for that as well. The town was what you would call a coal camp town. It's a sole definition of what life was like back then. Basically, our lead character, I don't really want to say too much.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
But yeah, I will definitely say that a lot of people, they didn't have paperwork done on miners because the miners did not cost the mine any money at all.
Okay.
So they never did paperwork on a coal miner. It was very, very rare for a coal miner to have any kind of paperwork done on it. So they did do plenty of paperwork on horses and mules.
Right.
Because that cost the mine money.
Yeah.
And the reason is, to kind of sidestep for a second, I'm sorry if I'm...
No, you're good. You're good.
Is the coal miners, you got paid in what they called scrip.
Okay.
You didn't get paid in cash. And anything that you bought with scrip had to be purchased in that town. Now, if you got fired, or if you decided to leave, you could not take your belongings with you. I don't really know how I mean it, because what they did with them was so dark and deranged. The kids not only had small hands, but they could still pick up coal.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so it's another pair of hands. But it could also fit into cracks and crevices that a grown man could not fit.
Exactly. That's what I was going to ask. Was their size, important at all? Did it help at all? Okay.
But the bad thing is that mines cave in all the time. So if you put your 6-year-old in a crack, that mine, I've seen it. Coal mines cave whenever they want.
Oh, that's such a scary job. Oh, I got to give credit to all those that are still doing that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you know what's even more fascinating, and I need to double check my numbers now because this is an old number, but it was still surprising to me when I found this out a few years ago, is that we currently, right now, get, and again, I might be off a little bit, but we get like 80% of our electricity from coal still today.
Wow.
With all the different forms of technology we have, we're still getting the majority of it from coal. And a lot of people are like, well, the coal mines, they died out like the 50s or the 40s or the 1800s. And no, they're going, it's a very, very booming industry.
That is not something that I would have ever expected to hear. I am probably like most of everybody else who thinks, we have all these solar power panels on people's houses and wind turbines and all these things. You don't think that the coal mines are still that imperative to our electricity.
Well, I mean, that's one type of coal. There are two types of coal. One is for electricity and burning. Another kind is one of the main ingredients to making steel.
Ah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So there is a lot in this movie, or that people are going to be able to take away from, and it seems like it's just going to be so enlightening to so many. And I know that you're producing this, and you have a co-producer. Who are you co-producing with?
Archer Sierra.
Okay. And what is it that you hope the audience will take from this film?
Don't take anything for granted.
Yeah.
It's such a cliche to say, it's like you don't know if you'll be here tomorrow. But you really don't.
And I think a lot of people will agree that, we as human beings, it's just we do take things for granted all the time. We live our own little life, and we don't stop to think about what a lot of others are really going through until we go through something troubling ourselves. So I definitely like that message, and I wish more people would live like that every day. So are you going to be taking this film to different festivals? And if so, which ones are you planning on doing?
Well, it's funny you bring that up because, of course, it's a movie in Utah.
Right.
And, of course, there's Sundance, which everybody knows about.
Right.
What is funny about this? Just an odd little coincidence that not too many people would ever think of. Is where Sundance got its name. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Right.
Well, it turns out Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid once made one of the most bold robberies in the country. They did a daylight robbery, and they robbed the Pleasant Valley Company store, or the coal company. Pleasant Valley Coal Company also owned winter quarters.
Oh, wow. That is definitely an interesting coincidence right there.
Yeah, so, they basically robbed winter quarters in a set.
Yeah. Oh, so is Sundance going to be out then, or are you still going to try to get in there?
Oh, first we'll try to get in.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Perfect. Now, I know you don't want to say too much about the film, or the characters. Do you have actors in mind already that you're looking at for some of the roles?
We do, and we reached out to a couple of people, and there is a really big name who has taken an interest in it. I don't want to say too much about who this person is,
Okay. Fair enough.
Until he's actually signed on officially. But we have been talking to him for quite a while now. My impression is he's very excited about the project. I just hope that we can work around his schedule and get him.
Right. Yeah, sometimes scheduling, I know, can be an issue for so many different people. I've seen it a million times where, an actor really wants to do this one particular film, but then they just can't make it happen because of their other commitments. So I understand that, and hopefully it'll work out for you, because it sounds like this person is somebody you really, really would like to have. And obviously, that the caliber of this person, whoever it is, has got to be, really, really good actor to portray whatever the character is. And this seems like a very emotional and powerful movie.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have other upcoming projects as well?
We do.
Okay.
We have another project called The Devil and the Dragon.
The Devil and the Dragon.
And that one I'm going to be a little bit more mysterious with. But I will say that this is a movie about probably one of the most feared names in history. To this day, his name, literally, and his image from his legend strikes fear in infants to the extreme elderly around the world.
Wow.
His real life character, or real life person, or being, if you will, was so legendary that everybody, or a lot of people, don't even realize this person was a real person.
Oh, wow.
When I bring up the name, they're saying, "Oh, you're doing a fictitious movie again." And I say, "No, it's a real person." And I say, "That person never lived." But that person very much so lived. Documented.
Oh. Okay, well, that sparks major interest for me right there. I'm like, I want to know all about that. And who will be producing those?
I'll be producing with Archer Sierra again.
Okay.
And my business partner, Gerald Stewart.
Oh, perfect. So how is, can you describe your working relationship with your producing partner, Archer?
So we've kind of been pretty good friends. It seems like the relationship's gotten pretty strong for the short amount of time that we've actually known each other. And that's a great thing. The thing I really enjoy about Archer is he is just as much in love with winter quarters as I am.
Right.
And when you bring in a producer, you need to have somebody who wants the project to be done more than you.
Right. Absolutely.
Otherwise, if you're not passionate about the project, then what do you do? If you're working with a team member that is not so gun ho to get it done as you are, it's bad. It's hard to work with stuff like that.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say, is if you don't have the passion for something and you're trying to work with somebody who doesn't have the same passion you do, and you really want to make something, great, it's going to be hard. You definitely have to be on the same page there to make this movie, make this film, what it needs to be and what it can be. So that's good to hear that you guys have that really great working relationship and friendship, it seems, as well.
Yes.
So now I know you said you have the devil in the, what did you call
Dragon.
it? The dragon. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have other projects like this in the future, or do you just have these two that you're working on right now?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty fortunate. I have a great team of writers who are very good friends of mine. We have a couple of other scripts that we are talking with the writer of What Reporters on, and he's willing to work with us on two of his big projects. I'm very excited to get those in the works. Nothing is official with those two projects yet, but I'm sure that we will be getting those on our roster very soon.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like you are off to a great start, and you're so knowledgeable about this film and the actual historical events that have taken place. So I'm really glad that you're bringing this to light for everyone. I know that this is going to be a very interesting and extremely enlightening movie, to watch. So I wish you nothing but the best on this film. I can't wait to see the finished product. I think it's going to be fabulous. It sounds, I can just imagine things that we're going to see in this film. And I can't wait to see your other projects as well. I look forward to, talking to you more, once they're done and once they're released. And, the crowd's reaction and the fans, I think it's going to be really, really good. And I wish you nothing but the best. And I can't thank you enough for taking the time to do this interview with me.
Well, thank you.
I really hope that all of our audience is going to take up an interest and wait to see this film when it's ready. So just keep us posted. As soon as you have dates and you have things, I want to know all about it so I can promote this and get everybody on board.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
No problem. Thank you so much for taking the time, and you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your night and all the stuff you have working on. I just do it well, man. You have a lot of passion for what you do, and it's really nice to see that. So I appreciate it very much.